Hello, hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Let me make sure. All right. Oh, good to see you guys. Look at everybody here. Good to see you all. Hello, hello. We will be jumping right in just a minute. I'm just going to make sure everything looks good. Okay. And if everybody, just somebody give me a thumbs up or something that you can see and hear me. Okay. Just like to confirm that. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, I saw that. Hello, Cheryl. Look at all the happy hands there. All right, let's do let me do my quick intro first, and then we'll get into some saying hello to everybody. So welcome everyone to the SoulPet live stream, episode number 47. And tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about, we're going to be talking all about rituals and the rituals that we can create that can help us not only manage and navigate the grief that we feel after the loss of an animal companion, but can also help us make some really deep connections by doing these particular rituals that I have suggestions for. But we'll get into that in just a minute. Welcome to the SoulPet live stream. For those of you who are regulars on the live stream, welcome, welcome. I'll say hello to you all in just a moment. And for those who may be new to this live stream or catching this a month, a year, a week from now, welcome to SoulPet. And we are the channel dedicated to supporting and helping each other as we navigate the loss of our animal companions. And we do all kinds of things. We talk about every topic under the sun, and I try to offer suggestions and recommendations for ways that I have worked through the grief of losing animal companions, but also the connections that we make with our animal companions once they're on the other side. There are some amazing connections to be made. And I'm going to see, I don't see, oh, Kathy, how you doing? Hey, Tiggy, I've got some news from Tiggy. Tonight's, just about every live stream, I like to close with a reading for an animal companion. And tonight it is Tiggy. So I have some information about Tiggy, and I think that's it. Otherwise, we're going to get into talking about rituals. Okay, so we're 2 minutes in. Let's say hello to everybody real quick. And I have a catch up that I want to do with Pat. So hello, Pat. Good to see you. And Lauren and Kali, Sherry, Sharon, good to see you guys here. Who else have we got? Kathy, and is that everybody so far? Donna, Jen, good to see you guys too. Yeah, right. I love the idea of fostering. I love to foster. One of I've had several fostering experiences, but I fall in love. Well, I fall in love with every dog that I meet. I'm a dog person at heart, but I fostered and fell totally in love with Jake, who then he has since crossed to the other side. But I do have some remembrances of Jake here with me because he was so special to us here. It was special to myself and my husband, such a sweet soul. But I love to foster, and I love the idea of fostering. And I think fostering might be even one of the ways that we could consider helping us manage our own, the loss of our own animal companions. When our animal companions cross to the other side, it leaves this hole that we're not sure we want to fill by having another animal companion enter into our lives, at least not in the very beginning. But fostering can be a great way to kind of bridge that period of time between when your animal companion is crossed and when you are ready to bring another animal into your home. So thank you so much for Kali for fostering. I'm pretty sure that's Kali, right? It's just an amazing experience, and I've loved every single one of my fosters. And it's even better now. There's also the chance that you become the foster fail, and the foster fail is when you bring the doggy into your dog or cat or whoever you're fostering. You bring them in permanently into your home, and then there's also being on the journey that really helps them find their forever home, giving them a place of comfort, love, and support until that perfect forever home comes to them. And fostering is a beautiful way to do that. Okay, so let's see what else we got. I said hello to Donna. Okay. Foster failed Gary and Tato. Yeah, I remember. I love, excuse me, tail end of the cold. Excuse me. Finally settling back into my space here through the holidays, and looking forward to just relaxing here for a little bit. Even though it's the holiday season, I want to really be relaxed and calm during this season. And I also am going to share with you guys, let me take a drink. I was commenting to my son and daughter-in-law earlier this evening that it's just so dark. It's so dark. This is the hardest time of the year for me. I don't know about you, but these really short days when it's more dark than it is daylight. And every single night, it feels like 10 o'clock at night. You just want to close your eyes and go to bed. Honor that if you can. If you need to rest and just totally rest during this time period, but we're almost on the cusp. We're almost to the solstice when it starts to go the other way and the days start to get longer. So that's this, I believe it's Saturday. I think it's Saturday the 21st. Where the heck did December go? Where did December go? All right, I'm gonna have to cough. I'm gonna put you guys on mute for a second. I got this silly frog in my throat. I think I muted you guys and not me, so you might have heard that anyway. Okay, let's, I want to share something with Pat, and this may be for all of you who may have a similar question. We've been kind of throwing back and forth at the beginning of some of these live streams. How is it that some people and some animals live a certain way in life and others live another way? And I think, Pat, you called it charmed. Why do some people live a charmed life and others don't? Why do some animals have it easy and some animals have it hard? And I only have philosophical answers for that. I know what I feel in my own heart, but there is somebody by the name of Neale Donald Walsch. Has anyone ever heard of Neale Donald Walsch? Neale Donald Walsch wrote the book Conversations with God. And when he wrote this book, gosh, it's years now, years and years since he first wrote that book. He was homeless, destitute, living on somebody's couch, living on the streets. And he simply said, look, God, just tell me the rules. Tell me the rules. I'll play by the rules. Tell me what it takes to have a fulfilled, beautiful life. And what he received in response to that was Conversations with God. And it answers all of those questions. I don't know if I would call them always satisfactory. For example, one of them was, why is there so much, there's so much bad in the world? I'm going to say illness. Okay, I'm making this up, kind of winging it. Why is there so much illness? Why do so many of our animal companions, I'll use that as the example. Why would so many of our animal companions contract a disease, contract cancer? Why do they get cancer? And then why do they go through this? And then why do they cross and leave our lives? And the answers from God might surprise you, because we would say, I pray for this to change. I pray for this to end. And the answer from God is, and don't worry, for those of you who watch this, I don't get all religious. This is just I call it the universe, source, God, Allah, Buddha, spirit, whatever you want to say. But God's response was, but I gave you the power. You have the power to change anything that you want to change. And Neale Donald Walsch says, well, I prayed to you to change that. And God says, well, I'm telling you to change that. So we have within us everything we need to change our lives. And I'm not going to get all, I believe that it's all based in fear, and that a lot of the things that we do are based in fear. And when we can let go of the fear and trust that we have power to do things differently, and this has everything to do with our animal companions, because our animal companions never doubt their power. They never, they never doubt their power. Our animal companions, even though they go through some of the stuff they go through, Tiggy's going to be a great example tonight when I share some of the information I got from Tiggy. They feel empowered and they don't feel fear the way that we let fear hold us back. But anyhow, I wanted to share with you Neale, Neale, Neale Donald Walsch is somebody very interesting to listen to if you want to think about philosophical answers to questions, that the hard questions that we ask, like why the heck am I here, and why are things the way that they are? Why is there war? Why is there disease? Why is there death? Yeah. Okay. It gets dark at 4:30. And hello, Robbie. Good to see you. It gets dark at 4:30. Yeah, it's dark so early now, and you wake up in the dark. You go to work. You come home in the dark. It's a very challenging time of year in the darkness. I prefer to have sunshine. I'm a sunshine girl myself. All right, tonight I want to talk about ritual. And I don't know if you saw the community post that I made, and I also posted it on my social media. Tonight, I want to share with you a ritual that involves a candle. So if you have a candle, you might want to grab it at some point. If you've already brought your candle with you, we'll be doing a little ritual later on. If you haven't brought a candle with you and you have a candle handy and you're in a place where you'll be able to do this little ritual with me, I invite you to do it a little bit later in the live stream. I want to talk about what rituals are and how they can really help us. We human beings love ritual. We love a little bit of ceremony, and ritual, the act of performing a ritual, shifts something with us. Within us, it really does help us to go through a process, and it gives us a sense of empowerment when we can do something that will move us in the direction of healing. Oh, you're welcome. And Sharon, you got a candle. Awesome. Fantastic. Acres of land, because I would definitely be a foster fail. I would love to have acres. I would also love to have acres and people, and we would bring in every animal, and we would have access to everything that we could have access to, and we would rescue all the animals that needed rescuing. But the word rescue came up tonight when I was chit-chatting with Tiggy, so I can't wait to share more about what our animals, in particular cats, think about rescue. They have a different look at it. All right, let's talk about ritual. I first discovered ritual when Lucy and Winston crossed and then Jack crossed. Most of you know this story who are regular viewers, but for those who might be watching this, who might be being introduced to this little community for the very first time, I'll give you a brief background on Lucy, Winston, and Jack. They're my life. I love all three of them. They're all at the Rainbow Bridge. They're all in their energetic form. They're all in non-physical, all three of them, along with two of my fosters. And they have inspired me so much. So we know that Lucy, this was in August of 2020, Lucy crossed. And it was an assisted crossing with her and I collaborating together, communicating, meditating, praying, whatever you want to call it. We knew that it was time. And Lucy's crossing was assisted. And it was not traumatic. It was actually very peaceful and it just filled me with such an intense feeling of peace and love when she crossed. She is the one of my animals who took the one deep breath. She took one beautiful deep breath, and when she exhaled, it didn't pass through us, it passed into us. And she became a part of me. From that moment on, she became a part of me. And I'll tell you about my tattoo in a second. I have to share an interesting story about that. And then within a week, not even a week later, if Lucy crossed on a Monday, Winston crossed on Saturday. And I had been gone for just a couple of hours. I'd been gone. I was working at the pet funeral home. I'd been gone for only a few hours. And when I came home, Winston had crossed. And it was, as many of you have experienced, it was devastating. There are no words to express, but I knew this. I knew this from working at the pet funeral home. It is not uncommon for animal companions who are close in age, who share the same residence, who share the same home, who share the same family. It's not uncommon for them to cross in a very close period of time. It even happens with people. It happens with people when a spouse crosses and a week later their husband or wife crosses. But this is what happened, and it was devastating. There's no easy thing. There's no easy way to go through something like that. Even practicing what I practiced, that was 4 years ago, more than 4 years now. And I was an animal Reiki master at practicing and teaching animal Reiki. It doesn't matter. All that stuff flies out the window when you experience it personally. My logical mind thought one thing, my heart was in a whole different place. And I was devastated. And it was not pretty in my house. It was not pretty when Winston crossed that same week. Little by little, I adjusted. I knew, because I was a dog mom to 3 seniors, I knew it was going to happen. I understood with my logical mind that dogs they generally live to a certain age range, and I was prepared, and I cared for them, and I nurtured them, and I was prepared. But then it came time for Jack. And Jack was within the year, so it was a little bit longer than a year when Jack crossed to the other side. And all of them have helped me create the rituals that I do now, because rituals are a beautiful way to create a legacy. That's where I'm really going to go with this, is creating a legacy for your animal companion. Because when you can do that, it really does help your mind, body, and spirit shift into a different perspective. and we're going to talk about some of the rituals that I have used, some of the rituals that my clients have used. And I would love for you guys to share any rituals that you have done. If there are any rituals that you want to share, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'll check the comments as we go on. I try to do that only every once in a while, but I can see out of the corner of my eye, I see a big comment that I'm going to have to check in just a second. Okay, I have to check it right now. Jody, yeah, I'm sorry.
I gotta go to Sean's.
Okay.
Their sink is leaking.
Uh-oh. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. That was my hubby letting me know that my son has a big leak in his house, so he's dashing off. Okay. That's what we get with live streams. It's all good. I'm half asleep. I better not get a candle. That's cute. All right. And I'm half asleep myself. Honestly, I'm half asleep myself. It's okay. It's all good. I'm asking a general question, but with my furball cat in mind. Do cats remember living on the streets in the snow and cold days, searching for something to eat now that they have a home and daily food? Scout and Tiggy are blowing trumpets in my ear. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, to keep you awake. Animals in general. We'll talk about that. I want to make myself a note. What do I do with my pen? Animals choose not to dwell in their trauma. They will sometimes have dreams of this, and I know this only from observing my gypsy. I know beyond more than that, but for my personal example is observing my gypsy. Gypsy was, she's a blind dog. She has no eyes. She suffered a traumatic injury when she was a young puppy. She wasn't like a small puppy. She was a young dog, though, when she suffered her traumatic injury. And the traumatic injury caused, please, as I tell you the story, don't anyone be alarmed, because Gypsy is wonderful, beautiful, and does not have a memory specific of this. She suffered a traumatic injury that was a crushing injury to her head. And the result was that she lost her eyes, and they had to be surgically removed. And I often thought, then from that point, she was in the shelter on a list to be euthanized. And a rescue, beautiful Red Fern rescue based out of Colorado, said she is a perfectly healthy dog. And I know that there's somebody out there, there's a home waiting there for her. And so she had to be transported from Texas, where she was, up to Colorado. And then she went into a foster for a while. And then she came to me. And when I sit down and meditate with her, and when I've sat down to connect with any animal companion who's crossed to the other side, they don't have a memory. They don't keep a memory of, it's not something they dwell on. That's a very, very human thing. It's an incredibly people do this. We dwell on our trauma. We relive it. We tell stories about it. We write about it. It's something that becomes a part of who we are. For animals, it's not that way at all. I use this analogy all the time. There's no cat on the planet that says, I can't believe the way my mother raised me. She has scarred me for life with the way it doesn't happen. I've seen Gypsy dream. I have seen dreaming where she starts to cry in her dreams. Now, I know that in this life that she has here with me, she has no reason to cry. There isn't anything that she ever had once for. But I think that she dreams about what happens in the past. And when she does, I simply hold her in my arms, comfort her, let her know that she's safe, and I don't remind her. So I don't ever bring it up. Like in my mind, when I'm connecting with her, I don't ever wonder out loud, do you remember what happened to you? Is there something I can do to help you forget what? I just choose not to bring it up with her at all. And cats are even more resilient than dogs. Cats do not carry trauma. And when this comes up with Tiggy and the word rescue, Tiggy had some very specific thoughts about the word rescue that I will share with you guys in just a few minutes. So that's the answer, a general answer to that right now. Set out. Okay, that's the other thing with your candle. If anybody, it's totally optional. Even the candle's optional. You can come back to this at any time if you don't have a candle handy. You're not going to miss anything. And you can visualize a candle in your mind if you want. Just visualize the candle, go along with this little activity that we're going to do in a few minutes. But if you've got something like, I always carry my Winston dog tags here. I have got Lucy's paw print near me, and I have got Jack's paw print near me. So I've got something for each one of my animals. I've got Winston's collar close by. I always have something close by of them. I surround myself with all this stuff. I want it to be part of who I am. So I surround myself without sadness. I have their beautiful Rainbow Bridge poems behind me. I have their remains in the little jar. I have not gone out to spread their remains yet because it's been so cold here in Wisconsin. It's been so cold and I want to be able to do it I don't want to be rushed, and I want to be able to be comfortable when I spread their remains. So I will let you guys know when I do go to their favorite park to spread their remains. But anything that you've got that you want to have by you, it's just to help you feel a sense of them. That's all it's for, is to help you feel a sense of them. Okay, let's talk about these. Yes, my cat runs in his sleep. And you have battery candles. All right, so battery candles are fine, but I am going to share a little bit of something about flame. When we do this ritual that I want to do, it's a ritual that's designed to help you achieve a place of peace and calm, and we're going to use this for a couple different reasons. But then I'm going to do that. I'm going to go down the woo-woo, the hairy-fairy little rabbit hole, because I also believe that there are messages we can receive from flame, that flame is alive. And I've also got, like, my Christmas candles and all are battery operated. They're beautiful and they put off a lovely little glow, but it's the flame that I'm really drawn to when it comes to practices like this. All right, let's talk about rituals. Why rituals? So I'm going to look at my notes real quick. As always, I do automatic writing. Today and last week even, I've done my automatic writing on my laptop. So I've been kind of typing out my notes, but it's not quite the same. And I'm gonna return to just writing. I write in the morning now. This is something else you guys might do as a ritual. And I didn't have this, just came to me. I did not have this in my little list of rituals. I like to get up every morning. And if you want a message from your animal companion before everything in my day starts to go crazy, before you pick up your phone and look at your email, before you look at your text, before you even look at the weather, pick up a pen and paper instead and ask your animal companion to share a message with you. And it can just be a feeling. Like this morning, the feeling was just one of overwhelming love. I laid in my bed and I didn't even want to get out of bed because the feeling was so strong. And I knew that all my animal companions were with me. Okay, so we are going to talk about rituals. So rituals are simple, meaningful actions that we take or perform, that they create connection, they create healing, they are, and it can be any number of things. I'm going to give you several different examples. And if anybody has ever done a ritual for themselves, and by ritual or ceremony, I don't mean anything, I just mean something small that you might do, like getting up in the morning and getting a note from your animal companion, lighting a candle every day, kissing their pictures or their paw prints. I have one of the interesting things. Oh, I forgot about my tattoo. I'll tell you. We've brought this up before. I named my plants after my animal companions who had crossed, so that every single morning I get up and say good morning to my plants. Good morning, Jack. Good morning, Lucy. Winston he doesn't have a plant named after him, because I only have 3 plants at the moment. I have 3 pretty large plants, but that's all I've got. The other one is named Seifer. And Seifer is also, I haven't seen Helen on here in a while. Seifer is the plant that got knocked over when I was doing a reading for Seifer, and the plant fell over. I don't know if you guys remember that. Gosh, it's been a couple of months. It was in the summer. The plant fell over and I picked it up and I named it Seifer, so that every morning I get up and say good morning to Jack, Lucy, and Seifer. Okay, so rituals. How do they work? When we do a specific thing, when we set an intention and perform a specific action with the intention of connecting with or honoring our animal companion, it changes something in our mind. So instead of dwelling in grief and guilt or regret or anger, it gives our mind something different to do. It gives us a little bit different thing to do. And I forgot to mention my tattoo. So this is Lucy, and you can't see it. You can never see it on the on the camera here because of the way that it's on my arm. But when the night that Lucy crossed, I had a dream about her. And in my dream, she was a wolf. So it was as if she had stepped into her higher self. When she crossed to the other side, just like we have higher selves, so do animals. And I pictured her as a wolf with bright blue eyes in this dream. When I woke up, it was so vivid that I wrote it down, and I went to a beautiful friend of mine who I also haven't seen here in a while, Shirley, who is a wonderful tattoo artist, and she tattooed Lucy on my arm. So earlier today, I was with my granddaughter, and my granddaughter she turned 1 on Halloween. So she's a year and 2 months old, not quite a year and 2 months old. She's just learning how to express herself. She's developing her little personality. Well, today she saw my tattoo, and because it's two-dimensional, it's not something that had ever caught her attention before at all. So she saw my tattoo and she's grabbing at it as if she wants to take it off my arm. Like she could see it was something, and she's pulling at it like she wants to take it off my arm. And then when she realized she couldn't, she leaned down and kissed that wolf right on the nose. So she could see that it was an animal, and she kissed that wolf right on the nose. How would I believe? Well, first of all, I know that my little granddaughter is magic, but she saw an animal that needed to be kissed. And I know that was Lucy connecting with her that way. So they all have ways to connect with us. Okay, I just had to share that because it was very cool. So it helps us process and express our grief in a tangible way. When we do rituals, and it doesn't matter, you guys know this, it doesn't matter if you cry, tears are fine, grief is fine. We are learning how to, I love the word navigate grief. We're not trying to eliminate it. We're not trying to say that it's wrong or bad or that we shouldn't feel sad or that we shouldn't cry. We're understanding how to manage it. We're understanding how to even utilize it as a way of connecting with our animal companions. When we become overwhelmed with emotion, a ritual is a really, really good way to manage the overwhelm. So when we're feeling the deepest grief and we don't know how to shake it, and we don't know how to, and we want to be able to shake it, a ritual is a wonderful way to help us manage that. And it gives us a way to just celebrate the life that we led with them. We had a wonderful life with our animal companions that we can still have. And it is a way that legacy is the word I like to use. And I'm going to give you an example of that because I have something called Lucy's legacy. And you guys may want to think of something similar to that. So what are some of the rituals? I would love to know what you guys do for rituals. So there we have, I have kissing, Gary and Tato's urns and pictures before bed. That's wonderful. I love to say goodnight to my animal companions too. I love them all still. And I'm not afraid to say that. I love them all so much still that I want to get signs from them I want a sign from them every single day. And every time I ask for one, I get one in one way or another, once I'm open to receiving that sign and that message from them. Lucy and Nova showed me a sign this weekend when I was networking and dropping info off about my business. Couldn't believe it. Except that you can believe it, right? We know this is true. We know these things are true. So I'm going to share with you some ideas for rituals that you might use on a regular basis or on an ad hoc basis if you find yourself in a moment of intense grief because it comes up, right? It crops up at the most unexpected times. So you might just want to be able to pull something out of your pocket that you can do. But the one that we're going to do with the candle is an intentional process that I like to do regularly. It's something that I love to do, not just for my own animal companions, but others as well. And I've also done it for humans. So I've done it for my father, I've done it for my mother-in-law. Yeah, you can do it for anything. So here are some things. You could create a memory box. Now I have, when Lucy and Jack crossed, the pet funeral home that I worked for, excuse me, did this thing at a time called a rainbow bridge. It's like a shadow box, and in the shadow box is a little bit of their fur. It's an ink paw print, and it's the poem of the Rainbow Bridge. And then there's a little pendant in there with their name, and it's all in this little shadow box. So I have one for Jack and I have one for Lucy, and if you wanted to create something like that, you most certainly could. Like it's got a printout of the Rainbow Bridge poem. You can put a little, you can create, or you could just create it of their things. If they have a toy, if you have their collars, or like I wear Winston's name tag, you can just create like a little, either a memory box. I have another little box floating around here, but I don't, it's across the other side of the room. You could just go like to Home Goods, or wait, what's another store that I really like? Hobby Lobby, or someplace that sells really cool little boxes. And you can even get them online. You can get them on Etsy. You can just look it up on Amazon. You can get them with little paw prints on them. You can get a little box, and inside the box, you might create some of the, you might put some of the things that hold their, it holds your favorite items or favorite memories from them, a toy, a piece of a blanket, it doesn't matter, whatever that may be. And you put it in the box, and then you have the box of their special things that you can always return to. The other thing that a lot of people like to do is plant a tree, plant flowers, create something living, a living memorial for your animal companion who has crossed to the other side. And a tree is a wonderful way to do that, is to plant a tree or flowers in their honor. Share their story, just like we do here. Share their story, share your photos. You could get together with friends and family and have a memory gathering where you all get to share a story about your animal companion. You could write a story about your animal companion. You could sit down and write your favorite memories from them. And it's just a good way to keep their memory alive, and to keep alive within your heart all the things that you felt about them. Lighting a candle. So one of the things you can do with lighting a candle, we're going to go through a specific ritual, but you could just simply light a candle every day in their honor. Even if it is like one of the little battery powered candle, and you were to keep it by their memorial. Like that's the other thing I have. I've got this little memorial set up for them. It's got a beautiful turquoise urn that has all of their remains. I put all 3 of their remains together in this beautiful turquoise urn, and it's got their paw prints all around it. Has the 2 Rainbow Bridge poems. It's where I keep their fur. It's where I keep their paw print. I keep it all together in this beautiful little memorial, is the best thing to call it. You can set up the same kind of thing for your animal companions. And if it's more than one animal companion, I keep them together. And all 3 of them with their remains together in that same little urn. It's why I have the feeling that Gypsy has taken on characteristics of all 3 of them. There are times, and then I will also say, Jack, I love you, Jack. Hello, it's so good to see you. When she does the stretch, Jack had a cat stretch that is indescribable, and now Gypsy does it. I just say, hey, Jack, thanks for stopping by. And his nickname was Pony. That's the other thing to do, is say their name out loud. We've talked about this. That's not even a ritual. His nickname was Pony, and he had this fur all around his neck. And I had this silly little poem, much as you guys do. You know how we have all these nicknames for our animal companions. And I would say, Jackaroni, Little Pony, cheese and crackers, fried bologna. And if he could laugh, he would have laughed. But every time I said that, he just loved it. So that's what I say now when Gypsy stretches. Jackaroni, Little Pony, cheese and crackers, fried bologna. And just saying his little poem makes me happy. It makes me smile, and it rarely makes me cry. It makes me feel really good. I feel very connected when we do that. Pear trees, plum trees. Gary smelled like plum flowers. An orchard, toys under the trees. Great idea. Great idea. Okay, that's what we've got so far. Write a letter to them. You can write a letter, and in the letter, you can say anything, because on the other side of life, there's no judgment. You can express your sadness. You can express, as I did with Winston, my intense hurt. If anybody remembers the story of Winston, who crossed without me being here, when I knew, I had a feeling all along that he was just going to sit in my arms, and I would help him cross to the other side. When it was time, I'd be there to hold him and comfort him as he shifted out of his body. And that didn't happen. And I was deeply hurt. I expressed it out loud. I expressed my hurt. I let it out, and then I asked for it to be healed. And that's how it worked with Winston. Write a letter. You can express anything you want in your letter, but I suggest gratitude. Gratitude's a wonderful thing. I suggest love and gratitude and appreciation and honor and legacy and anything else too, even the denser ones. Get it out. Just get it out and then ask for it to be healed. Ask for it to be healed. Any kind of small ceremony to honor their spirit, whatever that may be. If you were to step outside and face the four directions and offer up a prayer, it doesn't matter. Prayer is a beautiful way of honoring your animal companion. So any little small ceremony that honors their spirit. Acts of service as rituals. Fostering is an example of an act of service. I have Lucy's Legacy. Now, Lucy's Legacy, most of you know that I teach courses, and Lucy's Legacy, when I teach my Reiki courses, there's a little scholarship program, and I just call it Lucy's Legacy. And it is meant for anyone who does not have the financial means, but has an animal that they want to learn how to take care of. That's what that's for. So you can create your own legacy for your own animal companion. It could be donating to a shelter, perhaps in your animal companion's name. It could be creating a little fundraiser for a local shelter, gathering blankets. I just saw this recently. One of my friends in Miami was doing a blanket drive, and she was doing it in an animal's honor, doing a blanket drive it was Miami. I can't think of the name of the actual shelter. They got so many blankets, they had to start turning them away, or they had to start giving them to other shelters. There were so many blankets. People were ordering them on Amazon, and box after box after box of blankets was arriving at the shelter. So you can make a huge impact with one little thing if you wanted to do something for an animal shelter or a rescue that's in your animal companion's name. You could always volunteer, whether it was to foster or you just wanted to volunteer at an animal shelter. I find that is a beautiful way just to connect with animals and help those animals. The way that I think about it, when I work with animals at a shelter, I'm always holding in my mind what we are doing is assisting them in finding their forever home. So in whatever way you can volunteer, it's not just about cleaning out kennels. It's not just about cleaning cat litter. It's about helping animals to find their forever home. So you could volunteer with animals as they need. And that's also a really good way for channeling your love. So if you feel like you've got all this love with no place to go to a shelter. Those animal companions would just love a little bit of love. And supporting each other as we do in this community, this awesome, beautiful, amazing community of people that supports each other because we've all been through the same experience. There are support groups. You can invite people to join this group if you like. Anybody's welcome. Anybody is welcome on these live streams. This is open. I mean, it's all over the world. You can, it doesn't matter. But there are also in every person's area, there's generally some type of support group that either meets via Zoom or meets in person. There are all kinds of support groups specifically for pet loss. And you can go there and be part of that group and help support others who are so fresh in their grief and who could benefit from your experience or just being there, just having somebody there to support them and to understand them, who empathizes with them and who knows what they've been through. As we've talked about so many times, that people don't understand. There are some people who don't ever understand the depth of the feeling that we had for our animal companions. And it's good to have a community of people that know these feelings, that know exactly what we're talking about. Okay, so volunteering at the local SPCA training, that's fantastic. I have families who adopted still keep sending me updates. That is fantastic also. I love that. When they do find their forever home and then you've got the families who stay in touch, that's amazing. Even, yeah, I've had the same thing. I won't share. There's so many stories I could tell you guys, so many stories. Okay, a personal story. You can create for yourself a beautiful story about your animal companions. And it's almost like the stories that I tell for Lucy and Winston and Jack and Jake and Zoe. I tell their story all the time because it's an amazing story. It's an amazing story. Lucy went through a lot when she was a puppy. She was also traumatized. And then she took Jack. When Jack came in, Lucy was with us for 1 year, and we got Lucy as a puppy. Jack came in also as a puppy, but Lucy was 1 year and took him in like a mother. And we have pictures of the two of them with Jack snuggling, Lucy cleaning him. She just nurtured him like he was her own puppy. And to tell those stories and tell the story of how Winston found me. I didn't find Winston. Winston found me at the top of a mountain, living in the where nobody was for Winston to show up. All of your animal companions have unique stories, and they've come into your life in a way that no other animal could. So tell their story, tell it again and again and again. It helps them live on in your heart when you can tell their story. So make it a personal story that you could tell. I mean, Scout, what a story we would have about Scout. And I've got some things I can't wait to share about Tiggy. Okay. Let's see, what else do I want to share? Let's do this candle lighting ritual, shall we? I wrote down some things that I want to do. Now, the first thing I want to tell you about the candle lighting ritual, we're going to do I'm going to call it meditation, but it's really not. It's more about becoming mesmerized, maybe. I want to tell you why I focus on breath. When we start to do this, I focus on breathing for a specific reason in almost everything that I do. Whether I'm talking in my psychic development class or in my Reiki class or helping people release anxiety, I like to explain the why behind it. So it's not just, when we hear this, I want you to breathe in love. I want you to breathe in the light. Visualize the light shining above your head. I say all these words with deep meaning, but for some people, it's more of a metaphor. But I want to explain to you why we focus on breath. And then I'm going to show you why you're going to focus on this specific breath. When you breathe in, you are literally breathing in the same atmosphere that your animal companion breathed in while they were here in life. So breathe in that same beautiful air, that same beautiful oxygen that you shared with them in life. So that's the one thing, breathing in. When you breathe in nice and deep, it fills your lungs. So we generally breathe very shallow. It's just automatic. We just breathe without giving it a second thought throughout the day. When we can think about our breathing and fill our lungs, it awakens things within our body. It awakens things within our mind. And when you focus on breath, it gives your mind something to do. We are so often caught in our monkey mind, that mind where the chatter never stops. Even right now, I guarantee every single one of you watching this video has got something else going on in the back of their mind. I am a classic example. Right now, you know what's going through as I'm speaking these words, I'm thinking about my son and the leak that he's got in his house that my husband had to go fix. So there's always something going on. But when we focus on our breath, it lets all of those external things drop away. And when we focus on our breath with our animals in mind, we remember that nothing else is important to us at this moment in time as being able to connect with our animal companion. So that's why we focus on breath. But now there's one more thing. You breathe in nice and full. I'm going to encourage you to breathe out longer than you breathe in. And you're going to breathe out by contracting your abdomen. So it's like you're pushing your air out with your tummy. So when you breathe out by pushing it out by contracting your abdomen, it forces it's like your rib cage presses. It doesn't force. Your rib cage is, as part of the function of the breath, it's pressed against it like goes closer to your spine. You've got a nerve. It runs down both sides of your head. It's called your vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is responsible for helping you feel calm. When you focus on the vagus nerve, there's a couple, I could show you all kinds of things for activating your vagus nerve, but it's part of the parasympathetic nervous system that if you can allow the vagus nerve, it runs from your neck, from your, like the tip of your brain all the way down your body. When you can activate that, it gives you a sense of calm during a state of anxiety. So that you can actually find a bazillion YouTube videos on this as well. If you look up vagus, VAGUS, your vagus nerve. But when you exhale longer than you inhale, and you're doing so with your tummy, it activates the vagus nerve. And that vagus nerve, you won't even know it, except that you'll begin to feel a sense of calm. It helps your body quiet. It literally helps your body quiet. When we hold all that stress in our body, when we're holding grief, when we're holding anxiety, the vagus nerve doesn't do its job. We want it to flow through our body gently, easily, and naturally. So that's why I kind of focus on the breath. Then the other thing we're going to do, if you've got an object handy, so I'm wearing Winston's name tag, you can always hold on to something. I love to hold on. I still smell Winston on this. I just love that. If you've got something of your animal companion that you want to hold on to, not required. It's just more of a talisman than anything else that you're gonna hold on to. Or you could always pick up their paw print. I've shared before in the Polynesian tradition, there is a school of thought what school of thought? I always say that. I don't know why. In the Polynesian tradition, it is taught that all living things leave a piece of their soul behind in their physical remains, just a small little spark of themselves. So when you hold on to something that, I can feel the impression of Lucy's paw print. I just feel it. And if you've got a little bit of their fur, that's an even more wonderful way to connect with them. But it's not required in order for us to do this. So we're going to focus on our breath, and I'm going to take you through this. So if you guys are ready and you've got a candle, if you don't have a candle, don't worry. You can just follow along. It's only going to take a few minutes, and then we will come back to our reading for, I'm looking for my matches. We'll come back to the reading for Figgy. Back to the reading for Tiggy. Okay, all I'm going to do is light the candle. Now, the first thing that we do, let's just start from the very beginning. I want you to focus on your breath. I invite you to focus on your breath. So right now, just take a few nice deep breaths. Now, the first couple of breaths are just to get you into the habit of focusing on your breath. At your own pace, you're not going to get it wrong. And then I want you to take in one of those nice deep breaths. You are breathing in the same beautiful atmosphere, oxygen, love, that loving energy where your animal companion resides now, in all that empty space that is not empty. That's where they are, and you are breathing it in. And on the exhale, I want you to exhale using your tummy. And you're going to do that 3 times. You're going to breathe in. You're going to exhale a little bit longer than you inhale. And so I'm going to breathe in for a count of 4 and exhale for a count of 6. Again. And once more. Okay, now let yourself be focused. You are going to continue breathing nice at your own pace, but focused breathing. You're going to start to feel a sense of relaxation, and you're going to set the intention that you are about to honor your animal companion by lighting a beautiful candle, remembering them, loving them, holding in your heart. And we're going to start with a memory. So the first thing, though, is to light the candle. It's to light the candle with intention. So I love to use I use matches. These are green light matches, which are responsibly forested. I can't think of the right word for that, but so I'm going to strike my match. And you can use a lighter if you choose, but I'm just going to hold this up to them. Are we going to go out? We'll try once more. Is that Lucy? Is that Jack? Is that Winston? All right, so there we go. I love to have a beautiful flame. I love to look at the flame. And I'm going to light my candle with intention, holding in my mind. Now, I'm remembering all 3 of mine, Jack, Lucy, and Winston. I'm keeping them in mind. There's something secret about the flame that I'm going to share in a minute. And I'm with intention. Blow that out. And I'm just going to set in my heart, I'm looking at this flame, and I'm thinking to myself, how much I love my beautiful animals, how much I love Gypsy, who is right in my life right now, how much I love Winston and Jack and Lucy and all the things that we did together. And I think of Jack and Lucy when we would play in the snow at the top of our mountain, how Winston showed up one day and he was just there in the middle of nowhere. He was just there. And then Jake, who had his amputation the same day as my hubby, and how the two of them bonded from that very day and helped each other heal, helped each other walk again. And I hold those memories. That's what I would really encourage you to do. I want to kind of hold this for you guys so it stays on the camera. I want you to, even if you don't have a candle, use this light. Use the light of this. I'm going to try not to blow it out. Every time I talk, it flickers. Use the light of this candle and just stare at it and honor your animal companion with a memory. Call to mind one of your favorite memories, one of the most beautiful memories that you've ever had. Hold that and just think about, and Karen, hello, thank you. Welcome, SoulPet member. Think about that beautiful memory, and you might think about how they might run to you at the door when you came home from work, how they might get the zoomies, how a cat might purr and purr, wind in and out between your legs. Any of those favorite memories, that's what you want to think about. Those are the things that will help your heart to remember them. You're calling them into life again by expressing those memories. And the other thing that I like to, and I teach this in all my classes also, when you think of them as whole. Oh, I almost blew it out. Think of them as whole and complete and perfect, just as they are, just as they were, and just as they are. I love to hold the visual of Jack and Lucy and Winston and Jake, in particular Jake, who is an amputee. I hold them in my mind as perfect right now in their energetic form, even though they're not in a physical body with me. I see them as perfect and whole. And that's how I would invite you to think of your animal companions as well, whether it's horse, dog, cat, guinea pig, snake, bearded dragon, whatever animal companion, their species does not matter. Tarantula, their species doesn't matter. Visualize them as whole and happy. And they remind you by filling your heart with a feeling. Allow yourself to feel it. Feel it. Now, there's one more thing. We are going to look at the flame. And this is where the little bit of woo-woo comes in. I believe that flames are living things. A flame is alive. It is moving, even though my breath is moving it in some way. It flickers. I'm going to hold this in front of you guys. It flickers, it shines, it glows. As I look at the flame, I see blue. I see translucence. I see white. I see yellow. I see this flame dancing. It dances and dances and dances. And when you stare at the flame, now I'm going to be quiet for just a moment, and I'm going to hold this right where you can see it. When you stare at a flame, it becomes mesmerizing. I want you to allow yourself to be mesmerized by the flame of your candle. And when you look into that candle, I'm just going to hold this up here. When you look into that candlelight, wow, I'm fascinated now just looking at it being reflected in the camera itself. As I move this around, I see life. And I want you to, I'm staring not at the flame, I'm staring at the computer where it is showing me so many things. I just look at that flame. Allow yourself to be mesmerized. I'm going to be quiet for just 1 minute, and you can either look at the flame on the screen, or you can look at the flame of your own candle. And I want you to ask in this ritual for a sign or a message from your animal companion, whether you see something in the flame, whether you see a reflection, or you just begin to get a feeling or a knowing. That's what I'm going to ask you to do right now. I'll be quiet for the next minute or so, examine the flame, and ask for a sign or ask for a message. And then there's one more thing I can do. I can hear the flame flickering. It's crackling. It's making this really, really beautiful crackling noise. I know you won't be able to hear it, but you can do the same thing with your candle. And then, excuse me, if you have received a message, I would encourage you to write it down when we're done. But think about what that message is, and I want you to feel gratitude. Say thank you deep within your heart. I invite you just to be so thankful. Thankful for the flame, thankful for the ritual. Thank you for the life that you lived with your animal companion. Thank your animal companion for joining you, for allowing you to feel them, for allowing you to honor them, for allowing you to still keep them as part of your life, for allowing them everything in their perfect form, even not in physical. You're thanking them, loving them, just feeling them. And with intention, you may blow out the candle. Even though I don't want to blow it out, I wanted to keep staring at that. Simple ritual, easy, takes a few minutes of intention, calling to mind a memory from your animal companion, perhaps holding on to a necklace or holding on to their toy or their collar, whatever it may be, lighting the flame with intention, inviting them to join you, filling your heart with love, just being with them for a few minutes as you stare at the flame and ask for a sign or a message. And it's that easy. And you can do it anytime you want. There's no rules about this. You can do this whenever you want. And you just receive a message through that ritual of the flame. Okay. Is there anything else I wanted to share about that? Gently blowing out the candle. What else did I write here? Sending your love and intention out with them. Trusting that your animal companion feels it just as you did. Okay, let me check some comments here. All right, put a few of Gary's toys. Tiggy says, call her anything but late for dinner. Figgy Tiggy. Candle it. I know. While saying for Tiggy came out as Figgy. A double wick candle with an amethyst in it. Does the type of candle matter? It doesn't. You can light any candle because I focus on the flame, but if you have a magical candle that really has some meaning for you, this one that I'm burning, it's kind of really stuck in this little glass container I have it in. Here we go. It is just the most brilliant blue, and I know you can't see, but it's filled with sparkles. So when I light it, the whole thing sparkles. It's like the whole candle glitters in addition to the flame. But if you have a special candle, whether it's got crystals in it, we've talked about crystals before, a special candle that's got certain colors or a certain scent or crystals in it, that go crazy with your candles. Go crazy with your candles. I teach something called candle magic in the psychic development class, but it's all magic. It's all magical. It's just a beautiful ritual where we are focusing on the flame. Okay, I want to do this reading. If there's any other questions, if anybody wants to share any other rituals that they do, I just came up with a few for this. Will I do another clip next week? I'm not sure what a clip is. You mean a live stream? Because I will be doing the live streams, and I have to get back to doing short form videos. And now I finally have access to doing more than 60 seconds. Sometimes it's hard for me to condense my message into 60 seconds, but a video on YouTube. Yes, I'm going to like more than just a video. So there's a couple different things. I love to do the live streams. I love to connect with you guys every single Monday. I love to do short videos, just really quick little snippets to help people who just need a momentary reminder that everything's going to be okay. And for some little tips about how to do that. But I also like to do regular video without the live stream. There are some people who don't like live stream. I get it. There are some people who would just want to be able to think that I make it sound as if I'm talking directly to you when I am doing regular videos. But anywho, yes, I do them every Monday. Every single Monday is the live stream. And I will for 2025. I did this for all of 2024, except for 1 week I missed. So I think that I can do this if I set the intention to start doing other videos also, I can do it. Okay, let's do our reading for Tiggy. Tiggy. Where's my notes for Tiggy? Tiggy had some really interesting things to say. And I have 2 pages of notes here. And it also started with a lot of physical feelings. Now, there was something. Now, I know that part of this comes from the fact that I'm surrounded by decorations now. So celebrating Christmas, I celebrate Christmas, and I've got holiday decorations everywhere. But I did get a sense of a Christmas decoration, something sparkly, like a silver glittery ball of some kind, but small. Some kind of glittery ball is a visual that I got from Tiggy. And Tiggy does not consider himself a pet, by the way. Tiggy is not a pet. And I'm going with he. I don't even know if Tiggy is a he, but I think Tiggy is a he. If you could confirm that for me. But I'm going with he. Tiggy is also a mouser. I don't know if that's the case, but I got the sense that Tiggy was a mouser. And I'll try to give this an order, but it didn't necessarily come in a specific order. Has an upset stomach. I felt an upset stomach, very bloated. I felt very bloated. Tiggy is a she. Okay, so we'll go with she, Tiggy. I felt very bloated, and yeah, there was just something going on with that, with the tummy, the whole upset tummy thing, and eyes. I wrote conjunctivitis down. I got was there something going on with the eyes, and even an itchiness, and I think it all came down to something about an allergy, and I'll tell you why I think that in just a moment. So first it came through as eyes, and conjunctivitis is what I wrote down. Foam blue glasses. What was the foam blue glasses? I'll have to go back and think about that. What I do with these is as I sit down and I ask for specific information. I try to get evidence, something that's going to, I don't like the word prove, but something that's going to give us evidence that it's really Tiggy who's connecting. And it doesn't necessarily come in linear order, and some things make sense, some things don't. It's all good. So I wrote down the word foam and blue glasses. I don't remember what the foam was about or the blue glasses. Then what I got was a smell of pine. Now, this had nothing to do with Christmas. This was the more of a scented trash bag, if you know what I'm talking about. If you've ever had like the trash can liners and they have a scent to them that is sometimes lemon or lavender or pine. It was a very strong pine scent that was not natural. It did not smell natural at all. It smelled like scented, like it was chemically scented is what it smelled like. Hi, Aaron. Chemically scented, and that it caused sneezing, runny nose, and it was nasty, like an allergy that Tiggy did not like at all. The smell of pine, allergy, scented trash bag, sneezing, runny nose, and I also got a sense of loose stool from this, and it was all related to this particular smell that I got. It was very strong. I also heard the sound of dogs. And here's Kathy. I'm sorry. I did read your email, and I read it before I read the first email before I read the second email. So the second email said, "Don't read the first email," but I already read it. So there was something. The way I won't say the name of it. But there was you wrote a book about being a pet sitter, and the story of Tiggy was in that book, which is it's all fine. But here's what maybe I do have to say the name of the chapter. The name of the chapter was House of Horrors, and Tiggy says no. Tiggy says no, that it was very free, and they kicked it out. So if I understand this correctly, Tiggy was abandoned, one of several cats who was abandoned. And in her mind, they kicked it out is the phrase that came through. They kicked it out because they were all meant for better things. And it was the person who abandoned them. They don't even think of it as a person. It's an it. They kicked it out because they were all meant for better things. And that the scent of pine, this was the other thing, that there was something trying to cover the smell of cats, that there was candles, sprays, room freshener, that kind of thing, but it did, because it was just trying to mask the smell of cats, which cats love, by the way. The cats love the smell of cats. But that was another thing that came up with the scent. And then the stray cat strut. Have you ever heard of that? It was playing in my mind the whole time. I have read for so many cats, and this is the first time that song, it's called the stray cat strut. I got cat strut and I got cat style. Something I got cat class and I got cat style. That kept running through my mind again and again and again as I was doing this. All right, I'm going to come back to that part of the message in just a second. That's what I'm going to read this now, and then I have a very specific message. Okay, well, I'm going to come back to Aaron's comment in a second. You remember that song, Sherry? Yep, that's the song. It was just playing in my mind the whole time. Tiggy, one of the most interesting, impatient. I wrote, and then I crossed out the word impatient. High expectations. Tiggy has incredibly high expectations of humans. And we think that this was kind of the message that was coming through about the rescue. Because I personally, I work with rescues, and that's what I call it, rescuing. And Tiggy says it's not rescue, that it's orchestrated. And we think it's like telling humans that we're so wrapped up in ourselves. And there's something coming through about ego. It's even coming through right now. But cats are saying that they orchestrate everything. We think we are rescuing when in fact we are being led. They're the ones pulling all the strings, and we are just the puppets. And that we think that we're doing all this rescue, but cats know exactly what they need. And they find a way to get exactly what they need. And Tiggy, that with high expectations, and I'm not even 100% sure what that particularly means. Okay, let's see. The message that comes through from Tiggy, because that's the other thing that I have, is that your life is not the hand you are dealt. This also comes from Tiggy's experience of being rescued. Your life is not the hand you are dealt. You can craft a life of meaning, and you can craft the life that you want, and you can craft the life that you need. And she is showing you how that's done. She's showing you that you can orchestrate, just like she orchestrated the rescue, you can orchestrate your own life. Tiggy did. Tiggy kept referring to Tiggy in the third person. So everything, why I say the name Tiggy, I wrote down Tiggy 100 times. Tiggy did this. Tiggy referred to herself in the third person the whole time. She called you, you had a choice, and you chose wisely. And I guess that was bringing her into your home. And then there was a mechanical sound, like a blender. I can't quite describe it. It was very rhythmic, this mechanical sound she was giving to me. And I don't know what it was, if that means anything. It was very repetitive, like it wasn't even a blender. I can't describe it was a very rhythmic mechanical sound. It was a consistent mechanical sound. And then with that sound came the phrase, be a risk taker, that instead of shying away from risk, and I don't know what it's specifically in reference to, there's something that you're supposed to say yes to, that you have been worried about the risk associated with it. But it's saying, be the risk taker. And now the picture that I got of Tiggy now is weaving through tall grass, and it's like she's a tiger. As much as I see Lucy as a wolf, I can see Tiggy as a tiger, literally weaving through tall grass, that you can see the tall grass going back and forth, but you can't see Tiggy. And that's her where she is right now. Okay, and that's what I got. That is exactly what I got from Tiggy. Was there anything else I went, oh yeah, there was one more thing. I have to say this. When Tiggy said she's not a pet, as I started to as I was kind of writing things down, and I specifically got the phrase, "Now write this down." When she's not a pet, now write this down, as in the cat in Ghost. If you remember the cat in Ghost, that's the other visual I had of Tiggy. That movie Ghost, and there's a cat who can see ghosts. That was it. And the phrase from the phrase that Whoopi Goldberg says is, "I ain't no damn secretary," and that was the conversation I kind of had. Like, I couldn't write down enough that Tiggy wanted me to say, and that's when I kind of got the thing about that she was impatient and she has high expectations of people. She has very high expectations of people, and that we are not living up to our highest potential is exactly what came through from her. Okay. All right. She slept in front of the fridge. Okay. Oh, very cool. You are so very welcome. And I strut right by with my tail in the air. There you go. I think I wrote that down. Wait, let's see. Look, you can, when I do automatic writing, you can't read this, but right there, it says tail in the air. That's so good. Cats with, never. Kathy, you're thinking of writing another book. So this, I think that has to be it. If that's what you're thinking about, be a risk taker. There's something there that you're holding back on. And Tiggy is all over it. She is all over it. She wants to be the co-author of your book. All right. So I'm going to go back and just check a quick message here. I'm looking, what was I trying to read? Kuda. Kuda has been guiding me through certain things to speak truths, release inner battles, strong emotions, signs you couldn't ignore. There's so much I want to say. Our animal companions just want us to be healed. They know, and we've talked about this so many times. We all have secrets. We all have the dark side of us. We all have the mask. We all have a part of us that nobody ever sees. We all know what our inner heart is like. We know that we've all got demons. We've all got things that we've been trying to work through, or things that we have, in my case, that I have forgiven myself for, things that I've done when I was younger, things that when I didn't know better, specifically when it came to the animal companions in my life, I would go back and redo everything differently, back to my childhood dog Peanuts from 60 years ago. I would go back and redo certain things. And when I think about that and things that happened throughout my life, I've just forgiven myself. And I think that's what they're trying to get us to do. I truly believe that they want us to release ourselves from this prison of guilt and that we hold, that we don't have to hold on to, that they don't hold any grudges against us whatsoever. If in their mind we're forgiven already, it's us who's holding ourselves in judgment. Okay. I had to expose my secrets, but he wanted me to release them. And that's, everybody's also on their own beautiful personal journey. We are all on this beautiful journey here together on this life that we call planet Earth, and here in these little suits that we have taken on. And we're each on our own journey, and our animal companions are there to help us through it. They're meant to be our animal companions for a reason. We connect with them for a reason. They're in our life for a reason. And each of us is on that journey with them. Okay, guys, you are awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. It'll be next Monday. We don't have to do, Monday, it's Tuesday, Christmas Eve, Wednesday, Christmas. Tuesday, Christmas Eve, you guys who are in the psychic development class, we're going to have to do some chit chat about that, because the following week is also then New Year's Eve. I didn't plan that very well. Otherwise, the Mondays will continue, and I hope to see you guys again soon. If I don't see you this week, I will see you again next Monday. All right, guys, take care, everybody. Love you guys so much. Bye.